These De'Aaron Fox trade rumors are absolutely crazy. I mean, just think about it. Who wouldn't want a point guard who averages 26 points a game, 5 rebounds, and 6.1 assists? Let's hear what De'Aaron actually had to say that sparked all of these trade rumors. First, I take you to the NBA's #1 instigator on and off the court. That's right, folks. Draymond Green.
It has all to do with the team, the organization. Where are we going? I want to make sure that we're in a position to try to win in the future, because that's ultimately what I want to do. Like, I know I make enough money, but for me, it's, are we going to be able to compete at a high level? If we can show that this year, like, you sign an extension now. If not, like, obviously I still have another year, but at some point, will we be able to compete for a championship or really compete at a high level for a long time?
Okay, to put this in context, De'Aaron, at the end of the season, if he makes all NBA, could sign a 5-year, $345 million deal. That's after he turned down the 3-year, $165 million contract extension by the Sacramento Kings during the offseason. All right, we're going to play next for you a video from Mike Brown, the head coach of the Sacramento Kings. This video is in response to De'Aaron's comments on the Instigators podcast.
Has to step up. Great player. On the verge of being a superstar. There are those guys, and they're the superstars that win at a high level. And so the pressure is on me, and the pressure is on him to go get it done.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up.
All right, coming up on the NBA Rundown today, we are going to talk about these absolutely crazy De'Aaron Fox rumors. I've got some thoughts on the top 3 places that De'Aaron Fox might actually land if he is indeed traded this particular year. We're going to get into that, plus a whole lot more around De'Aaron Fox and the Sacramento Kings. New to the channel, please go ahead and subscribe, and of course, like this video. Also, check out our audio version of the pod on Apple and Spotify. Now, we heard from Draymond Green, we heard from De'Aaron Fox, and we heard from Mike Brown. I want to keep this all in context. The Sacramento Kings at this point basically have the 7th highest ranked offense in the association. They have the 14th highest ranked defense. So in other words, their defense is middle of the road. And by the way, throughout De'Aaron Fox's career, the Sacramento Kings defense has actually historically been low. It's actually been in the bottom percent of defenses since De'Aaron Fox has been there. So clearly, when they had an opportunity during the offseason to actually spend some money, what did the team need to do in terms of solving some of its defensive problems? Well, they went out and they signed an offensive weapon in an aging DeMar DeRozan. Look, as much as I love DeMar DeRozan as a basketball player, to put him on a team where defense is optional certainly didn't make a lot of sense. Now, De'Aaron is obviously thinking about making a move. We're going to talk about the 3 potential landing spots for him, as well as some of the other dreamers out there that think they legitimately have a chance of landing De'Aaron Fox, despite the fact that they probably don't have enough from a trade perspective to actually get it done. Now, I do want to mention that De'Aaron Fox went ahead and switched agents. He did what all superstars do. He went to Rich Paul. Remember Anthony Davis. Remember what Anthony Davis did once he decided to switch agents to Rich Paul as well. All right, now the first potential landing spot we covered a little bit yesterday on yesterday's pod, which of course is the San Antonio Spurs. The very idea of having De'Aaron Fox actually paired with Wemby certainly makes a lot of sense both on and off the court. I think those two together running the pick and roll, you can absolutely see De'Aaron Fox go into the hole and then passing the ball for an easy dunk by Wemby. It certainly makes a lot of sense. And while the San Antonio Spurs historically have not made these kinds of trades in the past, they certainly have enough in the tank to actually make it happen. Look, you pick the 3 players that you want to trade from the San Antonio Spurs and you ship them off to the Sacramento Kings, and then throw in 5, maybe 4 number 1 draft picks, and De'Aaron Fox is yours. Pairing De'Aaron Fox with the rookie Castle certainly makes a lot of sense as well. Castle is such a fantastic young defender, and we know that his offensive game has also come along nicely. He is not the kind of player that needs to control the basketball, and from a fit perspective, this absolutely makes a lot of sense. Now, the other place that De'Aaron Fox might actually want to go to, he might actually really just simply want to go home. And home for De'Aaron Fox is actually the Houston Rockets. Now, there are several players on the Rockets team that can't be traded this year because they signed contract extensions. That being said, you could certainly trade enough, probably 2 to 3 players, including like a Dylan Brooks, if you wanted to make that move, to the Sacramento Kings, giving up 4 number 1 draft picks. Now, the difference between those number 1 draft picks and what the San Antonio Spurs have is those number 1 draft picks in Houston are actually more valuable. Now, clearly, the Houston Rockets could use some help on the offensive side of the court, though they are playing extremely well. And if you will, as an organization, considering where they were just 24 months ago, they are currently ahead of schedule. As much as I hate to see the Houston Rockets actually break up their team for a player like Jimmy Butler, I don't have as much problem with it if they're actually bringing in a younger De'Aaron Fox and fitting him with what they currently have in Houston. I'd love for the Houston Rockets to actually make this deal, but find a way to hold on to the toughness that Dylan Brooks actually brings to that Houston Rockets team. If you will, Dylan is a reflection of his head coach. Now, the third team, you might have guessed because their name seems to pop up in every potential trade for any big player that's ever been traded in the NBA. And that, of course, is the Los Angeles Lakers. I brought up Rich Paul, and certainly that Rich Paul connection could go a long way in getting De'Aaron Fox to the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, the Lakers do not have as many first-round draft picks to actually make this happen. So they would most likely have to trade 4 or 5 players to actually get this done. From a fit perspective, adding De'Aaron Fox with LeBron James and Anthony Davis certainly makes a lot of sense, though there might not be enough basketballs to go around when De'Aaron and LeBron are on the court at the same time. So those are the top 3 places that have been rumored as of the last 12 hours as potential landing spots for De'Aaron Fox. I know, it's absolutely crazy. Some other potential places which have been mentioned, certainly not with as much vigor, include the Golden State Warriors, trying to figure out if De'Aaron Fox wants to be paired with Steph Curry as Curry starts to ski down the backside of Career Mountain. Remember that De'Aaron Fox was actually the first player to be signed by Steph's new shoe line. So there is that factor in that potential opportunity to bring De'Aaron Fox to the Golden State Warriors. The Pelicans certainly are a team that have a lot and certainly are most likely going to be rebuilding. Imagine Zion Williamson in a Sacramento Kings jersey sitting on the bench. It could certainly happen at some point. And then, of course, there's the Chicago Bulls, who are still trying to figure out what the hell they're going to do with Zach LaVine. All right, those are my thoughts on De'Aaron Fox and where he might potentially land. I'd love to hear from you. What are your thoughts on this particular topic? I mean, either way, the fact that De'Aaron Fox actually decided to shun the Sacramento Kings, go on Draymond Green's podcast and say what he said, and then having Mike Brown actually respond publicly should tell you everything that you need to know, that I think these rumors are more than just rumors at this point. If I were a betting person, I would certainly say I believe De'Aaron Fox is actually going to be traded before the trading deadline in February. All right. And by the way, I mean, who wouldn't want De'Aaron Fox on their team? There are plenty of other teams in the NBA that would certainly love to trade for De'Aaron Fox. All right, for the NBA Rundown, I'm Dave DeBaugh, wishing you all a tremendous rest of your sports viewing day.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up.